nicest people, our deals are number one. You'll love Dave's, Minnesota and Pet City. We make shopping for your pet fun, 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 fun.
We're filming. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dave's Pet Show. So I am really excited, and weird things get me excited. But one of the things I get excited about is what's new in pet food. So for the past probably 15 years, we used to carry a brand of food called California Natural. They made California Natural, they made Innova, and they made Evo. And the company was started in California by a fellow by the name of John Wanamaker, who started his business the same way that I did. He had stores in California. He had 8 big stores, and he wanted to make a great food, so he came out with his own private label food. I don't know, might even be more than 15 years ago. Might have been 20 years ago. And the food spread across the country. We were the first ones in Western Massachusetts to pick up the food, and we used to sell tons of Innova. Innova was what I modeled my Dave's Naturally Healthy food after. California Natural, which was a limited ingredient, it was the first real limited ingredient food. And then later on, they came out with this food called Evo, which was a very high meat concentrate food. So for dogs that needed lower carbs, for dogs that needed lots of protein, my humble opinion, it's a great diet for older dogs, because older dogs have trouble making protein. So anyway, John got to be in his late 70s, didn't have any kids, and he sold his company to what we in the pet industry refer to as the devil. And the devil is P&G. P&G is the company that bought and ruined Iams and Eukanuba, and then they bought and completely destroyed the Innova California brand. They were, how can I say this? They completely screwed the independent retailers. They went back on all their words of what they said they were going to do. They just really were the devil. Then they had several recalls. And after several recalls, nobody would touch the brand. And the brand went from a gazillion million dollar brand down to almost nothing. So who came to the rescue? The Mars Company, which owns M&M's, but they also own Pedigree. So they bought the Iams Eukanuba company, and they bought Innova. They also own Nutro, which Nutro went like this, and they rescued Nutro. So now, for the last about a year, it's been under the Mars umbrella. And I will tell you that even though Mars is a giant company, it's still, believe it or not, family-owned company. They're in the candy business, and they're in the pet food business. They're not in the diaper business, they're not in the laundry business, and they understand the different channels. So we are thrilled. The plants have all been upgraded. There is just nothing to do with P&G for the California Natural and Innova brands. So I am so comfortable, finally, full circle, talking about and pushing California Natural and Evo products. And I just want to start with California Natural, because for years, when people came in and said we need a limited ingredient diet, the California Natural was the go-to brand. So today, and I was just at a luncheon with 300 retailers and the Mars people, and it was the brand managers for California Natural and Evo. And so they talked about how they have even refined the diets and made the California Natural with the least amount of ingredients of any food, unless you just fed pure steak or pure chicken, whatever it was. So if your dog truly needs a limited ingredient diet, I am just thrilled to say that California Natural is the food that your dog should be on if you want to feed a dry food. So just for chuckles, this is the lamb meal and rice. Let me read you the ingredients. You ready? Lamb meal, brown rice, sunflower oil, and then vitamins and minerals. Period. End of story. Nothing else in this food. And the best part is they still kept it at a reasonable price. It's not, $80 or $90 a bag. It's a very reasonably priced food. So they have a salmon, they have a chicken, they even have a kangaroo, which I did not know. You can't sell kangaroo in California. And yeah, California outlawed kangaroo. And it's so funny because at this Global Pet Expo, I was talking with some folks from Australia, and there are hundreds of millions of kangaroos. Kangaroos are like cattle in Australia here. So why they did it in California, but that's California, man. I don't, no one can figure out why they banned kangaroo. So anyway, if you need that kind of diet, limited ingredient, it is truly the most limited ingredient dry food on the market. So the other food that they made, which was probably original, is a food called Evo, which is short for evolutionary. Pretty clever. I would have called it airy. No, revolutionary. Evolutionary. No, Evo's better probably. So here's the deal with this. If you have a dog, and they make cat food, so I got to show the cat food too, so we don't hear it from the cat food people. They make a cat food, and actually the cat food is even more important than the dog food because cats should not have carbs. So the Evo was, I think, the first really meat concentrated food that had fewer carbs than almost all the other dry foods. So dog and cat food for Evo. So let me just read this. So on the dog food, it's 78% of this is high quality animal ingredients. 22% is fruits and vegetables. 0% is grain, gluten, or potato. So on the cat food, this is a crude protein. This is 50% protein, and cats need protein. Here's the ingredients. This is why I love this food. This is not meal. This is turkey, chicken, then you get the chicken meal, tapioca starch, which is what they use to bind it, chicken fat, eggs, herring, pea fiber, and I didn't know this, I think I told you, pea fiber is like a gazillion% more expensive than meat. Pea fiber is really, pea protein and pea fiber expensive. Salmon meal, natural flavors, pumpkin, tomatoes, and then all the vitamins and minerals. I'm not a nutritionist. I would say that if you're going to feed the cat a dry food, that Evo is probably the best dry food to feed your cat because it's so high in protein and so much lower in carbs than other. So what does that do? So that helps fight diabetes, which is almost epidemic with cats. So I am, once again, just absolutely thrilled to recommend Evo and CalNat. So again, it's CalNat if you want a real limited ingredient diet. And so here's why a limited ingredient diet is important. Let's assume that you suspect that your dog has a food allergy. The only way to figure out what the dog is allergic to is to feed specific food, and you can't vary from that diet. So if you think the dog is allergic to chicken, well, then you feed a kangaroo and red lentil because there's absolutely no chicken. Where people mess up is they give treats and other stuff which has chicken in it. But that's the only way to figure out what your dog is allergic to, is to use a true limited ingredient diet. So let's say the dog, you want to see if the dog maybe is allergic to beef. What you could do is use the chicken, and then if you want to mix canned food, you throw in a can of Dave's 95% chicken, which is virtually just chicken. So anyway, if you have, I'm not a nutritionist, but this is 40 years of doing this. If you have an older dog, my recommendation would be to feed Evo, because the dogs need help with protein. And Evo has so much readily available protein. So now, there's one other food that I want to talk to you about that took the world by storm, which is Acana and Orijen. So they are in the Evo class of very, very, very high meat content, very low carb. It's the most expensive food I have in the store. Some of the bags of Orijen's are, they're creeping up to $100 a bag, 90 bucks, right? Joe's eyes just went up. So they opened the plant. They were made in Canada, but on the West Coast. So part of the cost is trucking from there. So they opened a plant in the U.S. Acana is sort of their a little bit less expensive than the regular Orijen, but they just came out with a slightly less, not very much less version of Acana called the Heritage. And again, but I just want to read you the ingredients. Deboned chicken. Chicken, is it giblets or giblets? Giblets. Chicken giblets, which is liver, heart, and gizzards. Chicken meal, whole green peas, red lentils, pinto beans, deboned turkey, a bunch of other ones. So this is how much? This is 60% poultry ingredients, 40% fruits, veggies, and other stuff, and 0 grain potatoes. So the big deal with the Heritage is that it's way, it's not a bargain, but it's way less than the regular Orijen or Acana. So there are really two very, very good options now that won't break the bank for really protein-rich dry foods. This one, the Acana Heritage, and again, the Evo. So doesn't it take a lot to get me excited in pet food, or it does take a lot. I have not been excited in many years because every year it's the same old, same old. But again, I'm thrilled that Acana came out with a food that most people can actually afford, and it's a great food. And I'm just tickled. I don't know what the word is. Just so happy that I can now once again recommend the California Natural and the Evo. And again, all the recalls, because you folks are pretty sophisticated, the folks who watch, it's all over and done with because we have a brand new owner that's been there for about a year, the Mars Company, and they're in the pet food business. They get it. So no more P&G. So anyway, don't go away. Matt and I will be back in just a moment. Hey everybody, it's Dave from Dave's Pet Show. Folks, great news. We're on even better times. If you want to learn everything about pets, tune in to Dave's Pet Show. Well, here we are with Matthew, who wants to shed some light on a very serious
Shed some light on some
topic
on lighting for aquariums.
Yes.
Okay, everyone for years and
can I be the holder?
You can be the holder. For years and years and years, and since the beginning of time, We've gone from incandescent screw-in light bulbs
Even
to
before electricity was
even
invented.
before, yeah, they were using candles to look in the tank
Yes.
and the sun. But
Which was hard to keep the tanks lit.
yeah, it kept them warm, but it didn't keep them lit.
Right.
But they've gone from fluorescent.
Now,
But nowadays, the fluorescent lights are on their way out, and we are entering now with LED lights on aquariums. LED is pretty much everywhere. Car headlights, pretty much anywhere, LED. But now we have fish tank lights, and this one is a Fluval LED lamp.
yes.
And it is,
I'll
this
hold
is
the
the
said Fluval product.
Fluval. This is the said Fluval product that is great for, this one particular one is for planted
Can I put
freshwater
down the
aquariums.
box yet?
You can put down the box.
Because I'm running out of arms.
Okay, there you go. You can go ahead and set it down there.
Yes.
But this is the
I'd
planted.
like, can I shed more light?
You can shed more
Oh,
light.
that won't do anything.
There you
That's
go.
just the,
This is the extender.
Right.
But this is a plant life for freshwater. It'll grow your plants beautifully, and it'll fit anywhere from a 20-inch to a 30-inch tank because it expands. Expands, and this sits right atop your glass Versatop. And if you can see right now, it is on a nighttime setting. You can see the pretty blue lights.
Yeah.
But you throw it onto the grow
Is that for
setting.
nocturnal plants?
This is for nocturnal fish or at night. If you don't want it pitch black, you want a night light in your room.
I wonder if the fish like to sleep at night.
They do, actually, they do.
So don't
Yeah.
you want to turn the lights off?
Well, depending if you have a nocturnal fish, they'll come out. But this is moonlight, actually, because if it's not a full moon, you'll have some.
What
or
kind
if
of
it's
fish
full
are
moon,
nocturnal?
catfish, algae eaters, certain types of eels, loaches, quite a few.
Really?
Quite a few. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But a lot of times, if you put these on the nighttime setting, you can simulate a sunset. Okay, this is this time before.
All right, so do you do that when, like during mating season?
Yeah, you could do it the sunrise to sunset, pretty much simulate
Just
a whole
sort
day in
of-
the water. Right,
just-
right. Rather than going right from that bam, lights on in the morning
Right, because
to
you want to set the mood during mating season.
yeah, exactly. You can go to this mood and they're
Yes.
doing their song and their Barry White music and everything like that.
Yes.
That's where the Aquatunes would have come in handy.
You know,
But-
we should do that, right?
yeah, there
I
you
mean,
go.
really.
Yeah, throw the Barry White song there.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, but here's the daytime full
Yeah.
setup right there. So that really kicks in a lot of
Shouldn't
light.
you play music by fish?
Yeah, there you go. It'd be kind of you could put some of that
Just
those plants that we sell over
I'm
there
just
in the tank.
saying.
Yeah, you could.
just
But
saying. Yeah.
but look at this. This is all these are LED lights. Don't look right at it because it'll
Jeez.
blow your brain out. But as you can see, it'll grow the plants. Each one of these little bulbs last about 35,000 hours. So the benefit of these, in all seriousness, is the bulbs up on the ceiling, your fluorescent bulbs,
Yeah.
they'll go about a year and then they start turning black.
Yeah.
That changes the reflection. They lose the lighting. You start getting all sorts of weird algae. This right here keeps that intensity for the entire light. This lamp here should last you about 10 years before usually the ballast goes.
Is this this is not too bright for the fish?
Well, there are other types of lighting that we have that you can
Yeah.
do. This
This is more
particular
for
one
plants?
for plants where you need a lot of light.
And do you keep it on at this all the time, or can you set it so it goes on and off?
You can set it on a timer. We sell aquarium timers, so you can set it so it turns off in the evening.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about this is usually in the morning, it's about 5 or 6 in the morning when you get up to wake up, it still might be dark. If you're totally dark and then
Most of us don't get up at 5.
some of us do.
Joe does.
Joe does.
Joe's already on the
yeah,
road
some
at
of us
5.
are
Yeah.
blessed.
He's at work already.
Yeah, I'm already cleaning tanks.
Right.
But if you're like
Which is why, folks, if you notice that, like the film, everything comes in and out, and it's because he's napping right
that's
now.
it, yeah.
Right.
He's falling asleep. Wake up.
Yeah.
All right. But if you're going from like this and it's pitch black in your room and you flip that on, that can startle the fish. So
Right.
what you do in the morning is you turn this on first.
Yeah.
You turn that on first so it simulates sort of a sunset, and then once they're used to a little bit of light, then you can pull it back all the way up.
Jeez, don't let me.
Just don't look at it. But
That's bright.
That is bright. That is bright. But you can grow. I have actually one of these on my tank,
Yeah.
and the plants just grow crazy on it. They grow everywhere. So it is, and this is a steady glow, so you're not going to get that heavy algae like you would with a fluorescent. Usually, as the fluorescents wear down, you start getting that brown algae because the light reflection's changing after a while.
Oh, that I did not know.
Yep. Because that's why on the fluorescent bulbs you want to
And
change the
I
bulbs every
consider
year.
myself to be a much wiser man now that I know that.
Wow, isn't that just enlightening? Enlightening.
Very good.
But if you look
very
at the
good.
corners on those fluorescents, see how the ends up there, they turn black?
Yes.
What happened? That means they're wearing down, and that changes the light reflection coming down, which actually can alter the whole algae growth in your tank.
Which is a poor reflection
Which
on
is
you.
a poor reflection on you, exactly. But speaking of algae, we'll put
Yes,
this
now
guy.
we'll put that one down.
We'll put this guy away. We'll turn
Yeah.
him off.
Let's freak out the hermit crabs.
Yeah, there you go.
Will
Well,
they-
we're gonna. Yeah, they probably might frown
Yeah.
on that. But we have, for those who have algae, This is a fantastic tool right here. And this is the easiest UV sterilizer in the world
This
to
is new?
work. We've had this about 6 months, and
Yeah.
we run them on our aquariums.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask us how we keep our tanks so clear looking, no cloudy. These guys right here. This
Oh.
it runs
is crazy.
just like a power filter. It
Yeah.
hangs on the back, water is pulled in, but instead of going through a filter pad or a cartridge,
through the UV.
It goes through a UV light bulb. And what the light bulb does, uses UV light to burn off the algae spores, the free swimming green algae spores, also kills off any other free swimming microorganisms, also kills down parasites too. So a lot of times if you have ick, you can put one of these on, and that'll help keep the prevent ick from
So
blowing
this
out of your tank.
is this essential for a saltwater tank?
This is highly, highly recommended for any aquarium. I would recommend to anyone.
so if I now want to set up a saltwater tank,
Yes, if you have coral in your tank,
Yeah.
if you have a lot of coral where you can't put medication into the water, this is a very, very helpful tool if you want to put fish in there. There's a lot of problems that people with reef tanks have is if the fish suddenly have parasites, you have all this coral that if you put copper or medication,
Kills the
it'll
coral.
kill it. It'll kill it. So this actually helps keep the parasites from becoming an epidemic. Actually is, and it also again kills off all the bad algae in the water.
Yep.
So it is, and the bulb maintenance on this is every year you just simply open it up and put a new light bulb in. Put a
That's
new
it?
UV Yep.
So there's no
that's it.
pads in here
There's
anymore?
no pads or anything. No pads. All it is just one light bulb. You just slide it in, slide out.
So how big will this tank do?
This particular one will go up to about a 150-gallon
You're
tank.
kidding.
So,
So isn't this way cheaper now to set up a big tank than the old days?
Yep, because the old day, a lot of people used UV sterilizers, but
Well,
they
you
were
had a
these huge.
Fluval, you had
There were these huge
Yeah.
canisters and everything
Yeah.
like that. This is
crazy.
Works beautiful. It's compact. It hangs on the back of the tank. It's simple. Anyone can use it, and they work. That's the most important thing.
And you
They
know what?
work.
I think you can put one in your bathtub,
Yeah, you probably could if you really want to.
right?
You can try it.
Right. I mean, right? You clean water.
Clean water and sterilize it.
So what
and
else?
there you go.
So I'm sold. Put the fish in the bathtub.
The bathtub. There you go. You know, there are a lot of people that come in here that do that with their koi in the winter.
They do. They put it in
Yes,
the bathtub.
believe it or not, we've had people that
Well,
do
you
that.
know what? Why
Yeah.
not?
Hey,
How many
whatever
people
works.
really take baths? Right.
That's true. Just as long as you have another shower, you can in another house. Yeah,
Right.
why not?
You know, we have a bath. We have a tub. We have never used it in our. Never.
Occasionally I wash the dog in it, but now we got the tubs over here.
God,
but
yeah.
That was about
right,
it.
Right. Never.
was
So
about
what a
it.
great idea. Put the koi in it.
Yeah, there we go.
So what other enlightening things do you have for us?
Enlightening things we have back in stock again are our new improved 10-gallon box kits. Before, when we had the 10-gallon kits, they came with the tank, the filter, and the light, and it was a fluorescent light.
Yeah.
It was a nice kit, had a good filter, but they've been improved. Now they're including a heater. You're getting a heater.
Yeah.
And you're getting the LED lights, just like you see there, a smaller version of the LED lights on this. So it is all the bells and whistles that you want in a full setup
For
aquarium.
$60?
For $60. $60, that's it. That's it.
So do you remember back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
they were, I mean, I don't care if this was 10 years ago, it was always way over $100
Yep,
because you
yep.
had to get all the
They had a
different.
heater. That was the difference. They had the tank,
$60
just to filter it, but now you have everything. You've improved it, and these are good quality. This filter is 100 gallons per hour, so it's
So
gonna,
what does that mean?
That means it is going to give you the actual correct, proper
So
filtration.
it'll
for this
filter
aquarium.
this 10 times an
10
hour.
times per hour. A lot of these tanks at the big box competitors will sell box kits that
But it's
don't have the
smaller.
heater and they have an inappropriate filter for it, not a correct
Right.
filter for it. This is correct. This is a great
This is
introductory
insane.
tank.
$59.
$59, you can take this home. The only thing that you would add to it would be
Fish
any
and water.
gravel and decorations. That's it. So, but everything you need, all the hardware is here that you need to get started into the hobby.
So you know what? This is all kidding aside. So my objection to I don't want to say all the chain stores, but starting a fish tank can be a really frustrating
It is,
experience.
yes.
Because you keep buying fish and the fish die. So if you go out and you buy a 10 or a 20 gallon, whatever it is, and you don't have the proper filtering
Right.
system in there, your
Proper
fish can't
instruction,
live.
too.
And the
Proper
you're right, your
instruction.
fish can't live. So that just turns people off
Turns people. That's where
from the
people
hobby.
give up in the
that's
hobby.
why.
is the first
That's
month.
why I know this is just so cool. That
It has everything you need, And
Right.
like with any new tank, the most important thing is you set it up, let it run a couple days before you put fish in.
Yeah.
And then start off with just a few fish. You're
Mollies?
going through mollies, guppies. There's a lot of fish that you can do.
And why do you use a molly or a guppy?
Well, a lot of those fish are one, they're inexpensive. Two,
Yeah.
they're hardy. The first month, the tank is going to go through what's called a cycle,
Yeah.
a break-in. It's cycling. What's happening is the ammonia builds up, and at the same time, good bacteria builds up. It isn't quite stable yet. Those are the type of fish that can handle that change. The key is just to do a few of them, and then after a month, you can start
Right,
building
'cause
your
it's-
collection.
that's what- right.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So I have a question about an LED, about not the LED, the ultraviolet.
Yep.
It doesn't kill good bacteria?
Does not. You're only going to be killing the bad free-swimming algae. The good bacteria is totally going to be living in your filter. That is going after the bad stuff, and it's going after the algae, because that's the stuff that's affected by the UV light. This stuff isn't. The
Right.
good stuff isn't.
Okay.
So that's why you can use that. We do have a smaller version of that
Yeah.
that you can run on the smaller tanks. We have a
That's
9.
sort of overkill, though, isn't it?
It's, I mean, a lot of people do it on a 20
Unless
gallon
you
tank.
have salt.
Right, unless you've got a mini reef tank, but we do
Right.
have a small version that you can run on these tanks. That'll work just fine.
Right. Right.
Okay.
I'm just. So does this now come in a 20-gallon too? The same
20
deal?
gallons, 29 gallons, and 55 gallons.
And how much is a 20 or a
29 gallon is, they run, a lot of times they have power price sales where
Yeah.
they're $69. But the
It's
average price
unbelievable.
is 99 for those.
99.
And then
So
we
that
have,
used to be 5 years ago. That was
and we have 89
89.
for 29.
Right. So that was
That's on
200
sale.
bucks.
Yep, yep. And then you can get a 55 gallon. This is the mind blower right here. $200 gets you a 55 gallon
everything?
tank for everything. Yep. You have a fifth tank, the hood, filter,
An
heater.
LED
Yep,
hood.
An LED hood. These are LED lights now. No more fluorescence.
Wow. Absolutely unbelievable.
So it's good stuff.
Yep. All right,
Excellent,
folks.
excellent.
But the whole show's over?
Wow.
We only did 2 segments? Yeah. You talk a lot, Matt.
You led the way.
Well, have a sparkling week, folks. We'll see you next week. I'm glad Matt could enlighten you with some new
lights.
lights.
Normal, buddy. Give me a kissy. Kissy kiss. Huh?
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's a hazard of the breed.
You drool more than I do. Wait a minute, I can't say. It's not working. This
You're supposed to put
better?
the glasses on first, you goof.
Oh, you are? Oh no, now I gotta get the glass. Okay. This is not gonna work.
Stop. All right, go that way. Go that way. Close them up first.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now how do I? I think I would have been.